we have, of course, the geopolitics of around Kashmir, and we have the relationship between India and US and Pakistan and the US, as well as China. But there is also this element, or there is this nexus between especially in the US. There's a left Islamist nexus, and you've written about this and how a lot of times a lot of lobbying done in places like the US, actually you can trace that back to Pakistan. So can you tell us about that nexus that operates in the US?
I'm glad that you brought me back to the US congressional hearing. Uh, it was interesting to see that Ilhan Omar, who's a Democrat congressperson, congresswoman in the US, she came with a script to the US Congress hearing, and it was quite shocking for me because I had not anticipated or imagined that a US congresswoman who has no connection whatsoever to Kashmir, or at that point of time, I did not realize that she has a connection to Pakistan. But I did wonder that this congresswoman has had no connection with India or Kashmir, but she had come with a script targeting me and calling me a spokesperson of the government of India. And it's strange because my professional records, my professional standing, my entire career is a testimony to the fact that I've been a thorough professional, thorough, objective journalist. I have had no political affiliations whatsoever. But Ilhan Omar came and she read out a script targeting me, and she did not even allow me to respond to her accusations. And later, after I came back and I started investigating the whole affair, because it did seem, I mean, it was apparent to me that it was a setup, because senator after senator, not senator, sorry, Congress, another congresswoman, Pramila Jayapal, and other congress men and women who tried to censor me in the US congressional hearing. And uh, I wanted to understand what had really happened. How was this setup done to target me, and why was I targeted? So I tried to, investigate, and I was fortunate to get a lot of information from public domain in on the internet, and also from some sources in the US who had been working on Ilhan Omar and her connections in the US. And it turned out that she's been, of course, she works with America's Care, and she works with a lot of Islamist organizations in the US, who are in turn connected to Jamaat-e Islami in Pakistan, who in turn are connected to terror organizations like Hizbul Mujahideen, like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed in one or the other way. And it was strange that these people who work for, directly or indirectly work for terror organizations which are banned, not just by India, but globally banned. These are the organizations which are banned by the United Nations. These are the organizations which are banned by the US themselves. And yet, these are the people who shamelessly work with these organizations, with these fronts which are being run by Pakistan's ISI and these terror groups in Pakistan. They are freely and fearlessly uh, working in the US against the interests of India, working in favor of Pakistan, working in favor of Turkey and Qatar, who are also involved in funding of Kashmiri separatism as of today. So a lot of players, but if you really ask me briefly, what is this all about? It's simple. Kashmir has been a war between Islamists against India. So it's an Islamist war against India for the establishment of an Islamic state. So this mirage, this illusion that they can set up a caliphate, that they can set up Sharia law in Kashmir because they are mandated by their religion, or mandated by their certain version of their religion, which I would say, Wahhabi or Deobandi Islam, or the Jamaat-e Islami Islam. These are the versions of Islam which sort of mixed politics with life. And this war has continued for a very long time, and it will continue for we don't know how long. But one good thing that the Republic of India has done is it has removed constitutional confusions, constitutional ambiguity, and it has really completely integrated Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India and brought it at par with the rest of India, as it should have done in 1950 itself. So a big course correction, the biggest historical wrong that was committed in 1950 has been fixed by the nullification of 370 and 35A, and by several measures that have been taken in the last 1 year.
Right. Aarti ji, I think we've covered a lot of ground in terms of history, the geopolitics, the identity issues in Kashmir, as well as the governance issues in Kashmir. Thank you so much for sharing your insights on various questions that we have discussed. It's been very insightful. And I'm sure our audience has a lot to think about and to understand Kashmir in a very holistic sort of a manner. So thank you for sharing those insights.
Thank you, Kamal. Namaskar.
Namaste, Aarti ji.
Namaste. We hope you enjoyed this Chitti Media content. Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.